What's going on, guys? This is Mitchell back with Slammed Outdoors, and this is going to be a little bit different video than the usual ones, but it is currently pouring in Ohio. It's a little bit too wet to fish, and really haven't started the fishing season here yet. So this video is going to be a little bit different. This one is going to be an unboxing, so I hope you guys enjoy, and we're going to roll into it. Okay, so for starters, I don't know why these came in 3 boxes. This was kind of a 2-part thing. But this is basically everything that I was interested in getting for the year. So I just had a little tackle warehouse order, so just thought it'd be kind of fun to make a video about it and tell you guys what I was thinking about the stuff I got and what I'm going to use it for. So let's roll into it. With some of it's new stuff, some of it is stuff that's been around that I just haven't tried yet. Some of it's stuff that I've used before and I've loved. So I'm going to kind of walk through all this stuff and kind of tell you why I got it, what I want to use it for, kind of go from there. Hopefully you guys will see this in some videos. So for starters, this is going to be the first thing that I got. So this is a clear A-rig. So I've fished some A-rigs. I've made some videos about them. I love A-rigs. This is a clear one. So this is the first time I've ever used one of these. So I kind of like the design. So this is going to be looks like a 4-wire. And basically you're going to run the line through there, it looks like. And I like this because it looks a little bit more finesse-esque than a lot of the A-rigs that I've seen, so that was kind of why I decided to get it. So at some point, I'll show you guys what this looks like with the actual swim baits that I decided to run on this. Basically, I'm going to get some little swim bait heads and then run probably some 3-inch swim baits on the back of it. So this A-rig is going to be way more finesse-based, obviously, with it being just kind of a clear mono than the kind of traditional wire A-rigs. So I'm interested to see if these get bit anymore or see if this is just kind of a gimmick, but it looks pretty cool. So this is the clear A-rig. It does have some directions. So the goal is to use it with 1/8 ounce heads, it looks like, based off the directions. So I will do that. And it looks like I am going to need to bend it into shape before using it. So I'm going to figure that out in a little bit. And it does look like I could use it as is. This is the first stuff I ordered, so we're just going to go from there. So these were 2 baits that I was very interested in. These are the Megabass Sleeper Craws. So this is basically a Ned style bait that looks like a crawfish. So I fish a lot of crawfish water. I have fish that are big crawfish eaters, and I've always wanted to use one of these. So they're pretty new. I've heard that these things are just smallmouth candy. So basically, this is a 5/8 ounce bait. It doesn't look like it because it's pretty small. And it's not very big, but I mean, for a Ned rig, basically, it's on the smaller end, but it's made by Megabass. So, I mean, that's kind of a stronger name in the fishing industry. I've heard great things about him. The one thing I have heard is the claws on them are not the most durable. That is the advantage of the Z-Man version of this kind of bait. Is the claws hold up a little better just because they're Elastec, but I'm hoping that these get bit a little better. And with it being a 5/8 ounce, I'm hoping to get a little better fish quality than on the Z-Man ones, which catch a ton of fish, but you kind of have to weed through the small ones. Basically, all the weight is going to be back here. All the weight is on that part where the head is, where the eye is, and then the hook is actually hidden, so the hook is hidden in here. So the theory is if anything hits it, I should close in on it, and the hook is right there. I did get 2 of those just because, like with my luck, I'm going to catch a nice fish on it and then break off or lose a claw or something and not be able to get bit. So that was something I really wanted to start with there. So that's a Sleeper Craw. This is the Picasso Lures Tungsten Jig. So I was looking for some little finesse jigs just to kind of start the spring off with, and this is going to be kind of the epitome of that. So these jigs are really small. And I'm fishing, again, in Ohio for very pressured fish, or in New England for bass that really like little tiny jigs. So that was kind of the theory behind this. I don't really know how well it'll work. I did get a couple of these jigs to try. They were on sale. So I got a 1/4 ounce, and I got 2 3/8 ounce ones to try. So they are kind of a ball head. They're very, very small jigs. Little 3/0 hooks on there. They look phenomenal. So hopefully I can review these. Because the usual jigs that I use are the Z-Man snakehead jigs, but they're pretty big. So hopefully these little finesse jigs can get it done. Again, honestly, I'm going to Vermont for Memorial Day weekend, and the Megabass Sleeper Craw and these little Picasso jigs I primarily got to fish there with. That's gonna be my fun one. There's another Picasso jig, so there's a 1/4 ounce. So I got a 1/4 ounce and a 3/8 ounce in green and in black and blue just to try it. Now, if you've seen videos on the channel for a while, you know that this is like my favorite thing to throw. Drop shotting the Max Scent flatworm, flat-nosed minnows are an absolute go-to for me. I really like the flatworms for smallmouth and fishing deeper water and heavy current. And then I like the flat-nosed minnows for fishing for largemouth or fishing shallow water and grass is kind of my go-to drop shot bait. So I will go through these. Who knows how many weeks these will even be here for before they eventually just kind of disappear. I go through these. I love them. I can't go fishing without these things. I absolutely need them. So this is just an absolute go-to for me. So add these to the pile here. Now this one I've been waiting to see come out for a while. So this I was following when it came out last summer, and I ordered it in the winter. This is the Z-Man Shadtron. So one of the coolest bites I've had in all of fishing was I had a snook hit a Z-Man Mulletron, which is the saltwater version of this, on the surface. Oh, I say that, and you look. You see it? I don't think it's happened. I'm not gonna lie. There he is out there. Oh, come on, eat it. Come on. Come on. Got him. Got him. Broke me off. Oh, that was the only one I brought. And I've gotten some really good bites on those in Florida. And I heard they were making a shad version, so I had to get one. It was a need. It was not a want. I chose to get a 4.5 inch, and this is the fast sink. I have a bad tendency to reel things too fast and not let my baits get lower in the water column. But I feel pretty good about this. And being effective for me around where I live. I live in big time shad water. My bass are big shad eaters. So I feel pretty good about that. I am going to take this out here. So I'm going to cut this, I think. I'm going to try to get that back in its mold. Just because it is a Elastec product. They kind of... The Elastec stuff, its only con is it kind of warps, so I'm going to try to get that back in its packaging when I'm done with it. But yeah, so there it is in all of its glory. So this is a line through swim bait. Got a little damage out of the package, but that's kind of on me. So what I love about these things is the hook is just in a channel, so the hook comes out very easily. And the nice thing is if you do hook a fish, what's supposed to happen is this hook, if it catches in the fish's mouth, will come up and your bait will just slide up the line, which is a fantastic feature just because that way you don't have to worry about your bait knocking your hook loose on the fish. And it just slides into a little channel, which is in the back of the head on the swim bait. And then you're going to just run your line through. There's a spot near the nose. So the line is just going to run through there. And I believe this thing has 2 channels on it. So the Mulletron, which was the saltwater version, which came out before this, there's one channel which runs up through the back. This version has 2 channels. So it has one that runs also through the bottom here. That way you can attach a treble hook here into this little keeper. So the theory is if you're fishing this over like shallow grass, you can put a hook through the top. Or if you're fishing it a little heavier, you can run a hook through here. So as you can see, so that's how you have it. So you can just run it through the bottom that way. And then I do want to see how difficult this is to run it through the top. Not difficult at all. So the theory is that way. I'm not going to tie this off necessarily, but the theory is that way. Your swim bait, if you hook anything, it'll just slide up the line. So personally, I love that feature. I've been kind of looking for swim baits to get into. I have a couple mag drafts, and I've gotten some bites on them, but it hasn't been something I've used a whole lot. So I'm kind of hoping that this can kind of become a go-to swim bait for me here. I'll probably start by having it back hooked, but I will probably get a treble hook to try it at some point. And I just want to see what they can do for me. So that's going to be a bait that you guys will hopefully see in a lot of videos. I'm trying to get this thing back in the package though. So that the things I'm looking forward to using the most out of that are going to be the Sleeper Craw, this clear A-rig. I'm interested to see kind of how this works. I'll probably go in more depth in this in a future video. And then this is the thing that I'm the most interested to use out of everything that I got. So very interested to see how it works. Looking forward to testing it out. Okay, so box 2 only has one thing in it. So I'm just going to combine these boxes into one. So what's in this box is going to be a couple of things that were interesting. And I am actually still waiting, it looks like, on something from that order. Yeah, so I'm currently waiting on one of these baits in a different color than what showed up so far, but that's fine. Oh, I don't know what that came off. That's terrifying. Anyways, I'm going to pop one of these open. So what came out of the kind of recent order were 2 baits that I was very interested in. This is called the Crud Craw, made by Berkley MaxScent. So I have the Berkley MaxScent chunks, and I love them. They're my go-to jig trailer, especially in the summer. There are days when those things just get inhaled. The problem is they don't hold up super well, but they get eaten, so it's fine. But I wanted to get a different trailer to try, and Z-Man, or not Z-Man, Berkley MaxScent. Berkley MaxScent made a new version of a craw, and this is also MaxScent. I'm a huge MaxScent guy. If they make it, I'm going to fish it. So this is called the Crud Craw. It's a 4-inch, and they're recommending that you can kind of fish this Texas rigged on an extra wide gap hook. I might do that. Realistically, what I'm probably going to do is pop this off and use it for chatterbait trailers, and mainly as a jig trailer to try to get a craw. They looked really interesting. So I got 2 bags of these in like the 4-inch black and blue. And then the thing that I'm waiting on that should be here in like a week is the exact same thing in just gray and white. And then the other thing from the order was this just came out. Z-Man dropped these at the Bassmaster Classic a couple weeks back. This is the Z-Man Jackhammer Baby Jack. So very similar to the Z-Man Jackhammer if you guys have used that. But this comes in a 1/4 ounce and it's a little bit smaller. So I am actually going to take this black and blue one out here. And I'm actually going to go find another Z-Man Jackhammer that I have. And we're just going to compare what the baby jackhammer looks like to the normal jackhammer. I'm very interested by this just because the jackhammers are a flashy kind of bait. But the problem is sometimes you're fishing pressured water and it's tough to get anything to eat them. So I am just going to get another version of this. I went back and I found one of my Z-Man jackhammers that I was using last summer. And this is the size difference. So this is the Z-Man jackhammer and this is the Z-Man baby jack. So you can see there is a decent size difference in size. So this is a 3/8 ounce chatterbait made by Z-Man. And you can tell that there is a definite hook size difference between the jackhammer and the baby jack. But it's not a huge difference. You can tell there's a little bit bigger of a gap, but it's not huge. So kind of reading the back of it here, basically, so the difference between this and the normal jackhammer is we're going to have, there's still a focus on keeping the trailers secure. They both are going to have this same fantastic little hook keeper on the back of here to keep your soft plastics on there. Hookup ratio is good on both. I've had a great experience with the full-size jackhammer. I'm interested to test out the baby jack. Deflects very well. Surprisingly, these things look like I fished this in pretty heavy wood and not gotten stuck. So I'm interested to see if the design on this is the same. And then it is downsized slightly for kind of a more subtle bite. So this does kind of remind me of a bait that Z-Man made a couple years ago that they've kind of gone away from, which is the Z-Man Jackhammer Stealth Blade. And I used the Stealth Blade and it worked, but nowhere near as well as the original. So I am interested to see how these work in comparison, see if they still get bit, they get bit more, get bit less. Just fishing pressured water, see if see if bass just inhale these or if they ignore them. So I am going to test these out in the near future, and then I will hopefully get a chance to make a video about that. So, but you can see the blade is much smaller on the Baby Jack. Basically, this is the size of like the Z-Man Mini jackhammers, but or the Z-Man Mini chatterbaits, like the Mini Max. But this is an actual jackhammer, so I'm very interested to see how it holds up. It looks like it's just one size smaller on the hooks. And I got that in black and blue, and I got that in Smallmouth Magic is the other color to kind of get a green and white. That's a color pattern I really like. It works well for my watercolor. So I'm very interested to see how these work as well. Okay, guys, so overall, that is my overall haul, I guess, for the winter, I guess you could say. So hope you guys enjoy. If there's anything that you want to see fished a specific way, or that you guys found really interesting from this, feel free to like and subscribe. Again, all this stuff is on Tackle Warehouse. All this stuff got to me pretty quickly. I'm a huge Tackle Warehouse fan. So if you're interested in any of this stuff, I can try to link some of it in this video. If not, feel free to shoot a comment on my video and I can find you a link to anything on here. Everything should still be on the site. I don't think they discontinued anything. If you want to see me focus on like one or two of these things big time, be like, go catch a fish with this, try to catch something on that in Ohio or whatever. I will see what I can do. I feel pretty good that I can get bit on pretty much any of this stuff. Very interested to see how it goes. And I'm going to be fishing this stuff pretty heavily, especially once I get done with school here in a couple weeks. So I will be kind of locking in on that. So I hope you guys found this interesting. Hopefully you guys found it at least kind of informative. I am very interested in using all this stuff, and I'm going to try to link everything back to this if it works. So I hope you guys enjoy. Remember to like and subscribe. Really helps the channel. And I'm going to catch you guys in our next video. So until then, I will see you guys around.